All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a place that's just full of powerful contradictions. A place where you've got this epic history that was forged, and at the same time, where the global future is being built. Of course, we're talking about the Indian state of Haryana.
Okay, so let's get right into the big question here. How can one place be both the stage for these epic, destiny-defining battles and a hub for global corporations? And that's really the core paradox of Haryana, right? It's a place where the past isn't just history. It's the literal foundation for this super modern present.
And this, right here, just perfectly captures that duality we're talking about. On one side, you've got Kurukshetra, the sacred setting of the Mahabharata. And on the other, you have Gurugram, a city that hosts 5% of the entire world's business process management, or BPM, workforce. I mean, just think about that for a second. The scale of that contrast is absolutely wild.
All right, so to really get a handle on the present, we've got to go back, way back. We need to see how this land forged a nation's destiny through both philosophy and, well, a lot of conflict.
And the story, well, it really begins right here, on the sacred ground of Kurukshetra, the very place named in the opening words of the Bhagavad Gita. And look, this isn't just the setting for the epic battle of the Mahabharata. It's where a timeless philosophy of karma was born, a philosophy that has shaped Indian thought for thousands of years.
You've got to understand this region's importance is just foundational. It's known as the Vedic heartland. I mean, this is the cradle of ancient Indian civilization, the land where sacred texts like the Rig Veda were put together, establishing it as the very matrix of Indian thought and spirituality. It all started here.
Okay, so we've talked about spiritual destiny. Now let's pivot to imperial destiny, just a short hop away in Panipat. Its location. I mean, look, it's right on these flat plains, basically the front door to Delhi. It was just the unavoidable battlefield for any power that wanted to control North India.
So, get this. 3 absolutely pivotal battles, all fought on the exact same Haryanvi soil, ended up deciding the fate of North India for centuries. The first one, it's what established the Mughal Empire, and a big reason for that was their superior gunpowder tech. The last one created this critical power vacuum that ultimately paved the way for the British. Time and again, Haryana was the stage for history.
And all that conflict, it also bred this really fierce spirit of independence. In fact, a lot of people don't know this, but the very first spark of the 1857 uprising against the British, it actually ignited right here in Ambala, hours before the more famous outbreak in Meerut. That defiant spirit, it's just a huge part of the state's character.
Okay, let's jump forward now. Let's see how that exact same geography, the very thing that made it a historic battleground, has been transformed into a modern economic advantage. Something that used to be a huge vulnerability is now, believe it or not, its greatest strength.
And the result? It's been a pretty incredible economic transformation. Look, it's still a huge contributor to India's food supply, no doubt. But Haryana has made this decisive shift away from agriculture to a really mature, service-driven economy. We're talking over half of its gross state domestic product, its GSDP, now coming from that services sector.
And what does that shift mean? Well, it's created some serious prosperity, and this is no small thing, right? This puts Haryana firmly among the top states in all of India for per capita income, which signals a really high standard of living and just robust economic activity.
So, what's driving all this growth? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is the auto industry. Haryana is already basically India's auto capital. But now, with Maruti Suzuki building what's going to be the world's largest passenger vehicle facility there, yeah, its dominance is only going to grow.
And at the absolute heart of this whole transformation is one city, Gurugram. It's become this indispensable engine for India's entire tech and service sector. A global nexus that punches way above its weight, contributing more than 1/10 of the whole state's GDP. Just one city.
But, and this is really interesting, the state isn't just pouring everything into its big cities. Through these really innovative programs like Padma, it's actively working to spread that growth out. And this plug-and-play scheme, it's a total game changer. It lets entrepreneurs in rural areas basically just show up and start production immediately in these ready-made factory spaces. It's brilliant.
Now, this fierce, determined spirit, it's not just about economics. It's just baked into the people, And it drives incredible social change and, frankly, some absolutely astonishing athletic achievements.
I mean, just look at this.
This is such a powerful story of social progress. For a long time, Haryana had one of the most skewed gender ratios in the entire country. But thanks to this really focused campaign, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, they've managed to tackle this deep-rooted disparity head-on, pushing the sex ratio at birth past that 900 mark, which is a truly monumental achievement.
And you can actually hear this assertive spirit in the local language. Haryanwi. It's known for being blunt, direct, really robust. So much so that people sometimes jokingly call it the Lathmar or stick-beating language. I think that perfectly reflects the resilient character of the people, don't you?
And all this cultural emphasis on strength and discipline, well, it's turned Haryana into what's basically a nursery for champions. I mean, the list is just incredible. From the legendary cricketer Kapil Dev to Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra, and even the first Indian woman in space, Kalpana Chawla. The state just keeps producing heroes across so many different fields.
So, where does this all lead? What's the next chapter for this land of incredible contrasts? Where does it go from here?
When you boil it all down, Haryana's success really comes from this unique synthesis. Its strength, it's not about choosing between its past and its future. It's about its amazing ability to blend them, to honor those ancient roots while at the same time aggressively building a global future.
And that really leaves us with one final, big thought. In a world where so many places struggle to balance their heritage with the demands of progress, could a Haryana's model, this model of using its ancient, battle-hardened identity to fuel modern innovation, could it actually provide some lessons for the rest of us?